Oh shit! I don't know what I haven't shot anything. I don't even remember what we're talking about today.
Yeah, so we're gonna do another post-read episode, except we're gonna dig a little deeper.
What are we digging deeper into?
Pretty much all of the kind of side characters.
All the side characters. Fuck, there's a lot.
I know,
I guess that makes sense why
but
we want
it's
to dig into them.
worth getting into. There's a lot.
I guess maybe for like a cold open, we can say like, hey, yeah, I know we just missed a few recording. I think we mentioned this in the last episode too, but life has just been chaotic for everybody, for us in particular.
But hopefully getting better.
I think we're getting settled. If I ever get around to like editing the episode that the last episode we recorded, then that's probably a good sign that we're back on track.
Mm-hmm.
So then by the time this one comes out, we'll be on track.
So you'll have to. So I thought of a meme in my head. So you'll have.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's not how memes work.
You'll have to let me know if this is something that somebody else already created.
You know what? If there's one thing I know is that there is not a single original thought in the universe. So don't feel bad if it's something somebody else already has created.
So what was that Roman emperor that was stabbed to death?
Julius Caesar?
Yeah, Julius Caesar. So I thought it was Caesar, but I was just like, there's a lot of Caesars. The Caesar is king.
Yes.
Caesar isn't very descriptive.
I was about to say like Caesar. That
Julius Caesar.
All of the emperors were Caesar. Kaiser.
So I'm sure there's a meme of Julius Caesar being killed with a bunch of knives coming at him. So I would think that there would be a meme about Aesudan being Julius Caesar, because everybody just seems to want to kill Aesudan, or at least doesn't think very well of Aesudan, or even thinks about Aesudan. Really, because Aesudan,
I'm like, what?
Ellikar's wife, who's just
especially as of this book, it's like it's like there's like one. I mean, I'm sure she's mentioned a lot more than that in the Dalinar Adolin Travelers.
Just in passing.
But just in passing. Except we do get that one interlude where, and then the riots started.
Actually, so let's get into the episode and then I'll talk more.
All right.
This is an audio podcast, right?
Yeah, but that's where I can mark the time skip, and so that way I've got now there'll be the music, and right, it's been so fucking long since we recorded, and the last time we recorded it had been so fucking long since we recorded. All right. Hello and welcome to Cosmere Casual, your casual reader's guide for the Cosmere Curious. I'm your co-host, the hopefully not getting stabbed to death by 42 different co-conspirators, Nick Gorman.
And I'm your co-host, all in one piece, AJ Gorman.
I'm just, before we get into it, I kind of, I thought when you were talking about Julius Caesar, I thought it was going to be, about Sadius getting stabbed to death, with the... And I wanted to make another Cherry Poppin' Daddies joke.
Again?
I don't know why.
Because it went so well last time?
Dad jokes and bad jokes are only one letter apart. And I don't tell them because they're good. That's not the point. They make me happy.
I'm glad.
Good.
For you.
Yeah.
Just to make that clear. Okay, getting back to Aesudan. So yeah, this is the episode we're going to do in the post-read of Words of Radiance, but I want to talk about some of the other characters we generally don't have time for in other post-read episodes.
So that you and I are on the same page before we get going, and also as listeners on the same page. Spoilers through Words of Radiance, or are we going to go further than that?
I think we're going to touch a little bit spoilers for the rest of the Stormlight archive, not with the intention of spoiling things for you, but more from the intention of explaining what is going on for clarity, because
okay,
it is not super clear what is going on your first read, but we do want to make sure that there is some clarity, particularly on rereads.
So we're not going to talk about maybe plot events of the future books, but we might talk about characterization that happens in later books, or...
It is Friday afternoon.
All right.
And you are using some awesome literary terms that my brain is not able to handle right now.
All I'm saying is that, I have lots of friends who have very different tolerances for spoilers, and the one thing everybody agrees is hey, yeah, no, don't tell me about plot points in later books, but I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, so spoilers for the whole Stormlight archive.
Sure, we'll go there. Okay, so starting with the prologue. So the prologue for Words of Radiance was Yesna, just as a reminder. And one of the main points was Yesna met with an assassin, and she was going to kill her sister-in-law, Aesudon.
Oh, yeah. The Ace of who? Oh, sorry.
That was the whole point of meeting with the assassin.
I forgot about that.
We learned a lot of other things in that meeting, but the whole point of Yesna arriving at that meeting was to possibly put a hit out on Aesudon. Ultimately, she decided not to.
You know, in hindsight, probably a mistake.
But no one seems to think well of Aesudon.
Elokar, maybe? Actually, honestly, I don't think he thinks about her at all.
No, he doesn't. Not until...
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't seem to feel bad at all. They left Aesudon.
Yeah, boy howdy.
With a child.
Yeah, boy howdy. It's hard to feel bad for Aesudon as a single mother, though, because, I mean, she's queen. She's got all sorts of
attendants. And we never know her
attendants.
as an actual person.
Yeah.
Anyways, for reasons that we won't get into. The assassin that Yesna met with, I believe her name is Lys.
Yes.
Okay. Brando has Raphode. If you're not down with the lingo, it's Brando's response of...
Read and find out.
So Brando has very, very specifically decided not to answer anything about Lys. So I think we can expect to see more of her in the future. Number one question being, how did she get a shard blade? Why does she have a shard blade? And, well, like... Anyways,
well, and
I
like,
think we can guess why she wants a shard blade, but like,
well,
what's
and
that
like,
history?
what's the history? And like, I think because I've seen some shit online about is she a herald or not, and I want to say like there's enough in there to say that she isn't because we know all the heralds, but there's something funky. Yeah, like you said, there's just something funky going on there.
I don't even know if we have enough information to know whether it's a new shard blade.
Oh yeah. Could she be a
Night Radiant?
A Night Radiant,
a
yeah.
budding Night. Well, sorry, not Night Radiant. She could be a Surge Binder.
Yeah.
Okay. She's also called the Weeper. She, if you were paying attention, in that conversation, you would know that she held Zeth's oath stone before she sold it to the slavers. Before she sold Zeth to the slavers.
Which kind of makes me feel like she wouldn't be a herald because the other heralds talking, like Nail and
they know a lot more about
Zeth and the Shin. And, yeah. Whereas Lynn's just like freaks me out.
Okay. That's about all the meat that's on that bone. So let's talk about Yesna in Shadesmar. So in this prologue,
you did not just imply that Yesna is a minor character. I guess she is in this book.
In this book, she's not the main focus. So
she's dead for most of the book, yeah.
In this prologue, we see her in Shadesmar.
She's only mostly dead.
This is an audio podcast. Okay. We see her in Shadesmar, the night of the assassin. We see her kind of slip into it. We see her kind of terrified. But it is very obvious to my reading that she has been in Shadesmar before that night.
Doesn't she say something like, "Oh no, not again"?
Yes.
I mean, she's not like a bowl of petunias or something, but it's something like that. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference. My nerds out there.
It's been a little while.
My nerds out there will appreciate it.
Let's re-listen to that because the graphic audio is pretty. No, it's not even a graphic audio.
The audiobook.
Yeah, Stephen Fry.
Okay, I mean, so
that's his name, right?
Probably. I don't know.
He's a big time famous person.
Sorry, I distracted you.
So she's been in Shadesmar before. Obviously not a whole lot because she hasn't figured the place out yet. And yes, I was a pretty smart cookie, so she would have figured things out. She figures things out pretty quickly. Presumably, she was stressed about Sadius, and that's why she got dumped into Shadesmar. Do we know if that's actually what happened? No.
You think Sadius and not trying to kill her sister-in-law and,
No, she seems pretty level-headed about that.
Yeah, that's fair. Or whatever's going on between her and Amaram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a there.
So, yeah, so she had passed Sadius and Amaram right before. So, yeah, we're still figuring that out. She's able to partially rebuild the palace out of beads?
Yeah.
We don't... And, like, the palace is ancient. So the palace is, like, a part of the Dawn... The
Dawn City?
Yeah. So... We know it as Kholinar, but it wasn't called Kholinar because didn't Didn't Dalinar and I want to say Galen, but that's the horse. Gavilar.
Honestly, the horse is a better character.
The horse is a pretty good character. Gavilar. I thought Gavilar renamed it Kholinar
because I mean he'd name it after himself.
Right, his family.
I'm looking up on
Coppermind.
Yeah, Coppermind. Yeah,
but anyways, the point of it being we don't know enough about the palace or the Dawn Cities because it seems like that there's more to know about that palace. I think there's some weird things going on that just have been left undiscovered.
Yeah, I can't really talk about that without going into...
Spoiler. So we see in this prologue, so again, this is like 10 years before the events of the majority of Words of Radiance. She's thinking of the parchment and she asks herself, could it be that scholars have been searching in the wrong ruins all these years? What ruins are they searching? I mean, presumably they're searching for...
Urithiru.
Ah, the Urithiru. Okay.
I would say because that's like... I mean, certainly that's what the implication is because that's where she spends most of her efforts.
She was looking for Urithiru way back then?
Well, that's where she spends her efforts in the Way of Kings and, the early parts of Words of Radiance and, like, even at the end. So it's not... I'd imagine. I suspect. I mean, like I said, I know it took on a new urgency for her after her dad was assassinated.
Okay, so you think it's a safe assumption that the answers that she's looking for in Words of Radiance they started here.
I think so, or like they were already pre-existing.
Okay, because when she thinks she's gonna die, she does lament that she'll never know the answers.
Well, I mean,
to what? She wasn't. I don't think she was focused on the Voidbringers at that time. She was more concerned with keeping her family alive and the country running.
Yeah, but I mean, also she describes herself as a versatilian, right? So I think it's more about like, she'll never know the answers to the ultimate questions of life, the universe, and everything. That's
42.
Another Hitchhiker's Guide reference. Man.
Gift that keeps on giving.
I mean, it is very quotable, even if anyway, whatever.
I know. What's more quotable than is it Hitchhiker's Guide or The Princess Bride? Hitchhiker's Guide is longer.
Like, there's a whole series.
Right.
But then again, anyway, I want to say Princess Bride, though.
I want to say it too, because like every single line out of Princess Bride.
Yeah.
All right. While we're talking about Shadesmar, let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more about Shadesmar. So, as a reminder, because this is a casual listenership, Shadesmar is not a different location; it's a different plane of existence in the same space.
If you're a fan of D&D, it's like the ethereal realm. Or if you're a fan of Stranger Things, it's the Upside Down.
Okay.
Or, yeah, it's just like it's the same place. It's just a different dimension.
If you ever watched The Flash, it's the mirror realm.
Yeah. It turns out
there's so many examples.
It's a trope.
Okay. The Shadesmar shadows point the wrong way. The sun is in reverse. There are beads everywhere. What is water in the physical realm?
It's still recording now.
It is. Well, I'm still on there.
Well, okay. I don't know.
Okay. So in Shadesmar, shadows point the wrong way. The sun is in reverse. There are beads everywhere. Shadesmar is called the cognitive realm. It is the place of the mind. Yesna describes the cognitive realm as a place of deep and profound thought.
Deep thought is another Hitchhiker's Guide reference, by the way.
Okay. I have no idea why she would describe it that way. Like, she tells Shallan that, but I'm like, of the experiences that we have had in Shadesmar, a place of deep and profound thought is not the words that come to my mind.
I mean, I can explain it, but that's more getting into like stuff from later books. Okay. Although I guess we can talk about it in the context of like why the stick doesn't change and like the ship. It's where like the perceptions of people, like in the things themselves, have a big impact on the thing, right? So it's not necessarily like, whereas in our physical world, based, in meat space, right? I can think something and it doesn't happen unless it doesn't change anything unless like I move my hands and make something happen, right? Mm-hmm. But in Shadesmar, the way people think about a thing changes it. And like,
even though there are still physical things in Shadesmar.
Even though there are still physical things in Shadesmar, but like the physicality of the thing changes, right? Where, I mean, I guess for instance, she was able to form the beads into the castle because there was a strong perception that a castle is a thing, right? And Kholinar Castle is a thing versus like
Palace, but yeah.
Yeah, Castle, whatever. Whereas if there was no concept of a palace and they were just thinking of individual stones, she wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah.
I was going to make a Yumi the Nightmare Painter reference.
You gotta wait.
Yeah, I gotta wait.
Other features of Shadesmar, living lights floating in the air is described as those are souls of fish or humans, so living creatures that are in the physical realm. They do appear as floating lights. Yes, that is from Sill's description of the cognitive realm. Yeah. Okay. Inhabitants of the cognitive realm, there are most of the inhabitants are Spren, which are living ideas.
Right. So like Spren, what is a Spren is a huge thing throughout certainly the first few books of the Stormlight archive, right? It's like Sill is a living embodiment of the concept of honor, right? And yeah.
So Spren in the cognitive realm in Shadesmar are a lot more akin to human beings in the physical realm in that they have a lot of substance. They are kind of humanoid size.
Well, we're talking about like sapient Spren then, right?
Yeah, we're talking about sapient Spren.
Yeah.
The Spren the Spren in the physical realm are kind of Spren that have leaked out sentience from the cognitive realm into the physical realm.
Not all of them, right? Or we're just talking about sapient Spren when we say this, right? Because like anger Spren, the pools of blood, those have not made the full transition from cognitive realm into.
No, I didn't say that they made the full transition. I said that they have leaked some sentience.
Oh, but like your typical emotion Spren aren't sentient at all, right? They are just
so I'm talking about I'm talking about non-sentient.
Okay.
I switched. Sorry.
Yeah, I totally kept up with that.
But yeah, so when we see Spren in the physical realm and they kind of, you can't really touch them and stuff like that, it's because they are only kind of partially leaked from the cognitive realm into the physical realm. So enough to just kind of be able to see them, but not much else. But as we were kind of referencing, not all Spren are equal. Some are smart, some others are not so, some are sentient, some are not. Another way to think of Spren, as you had alluded to, Nick, was they are fragments of powers of creation. So emotion Spren are kind of like coming from honor Spren. Nature Spren are coming from cultivation's power. We have what are called void Spren. Those are from odium's power. Interestingly, we do have there is kind of a concept floated throughout this book that concepts can die, aka Spren can die.
Well, and like, do you think? Because I was thinking about it. Because like, in ancient Rome, like there's no Latin word for. I think it's purple, right? Purple and blue are the same color. So do you think there's color Spren? And do you think that they just sometimes like, well, as the idea of indigo fades from existence, there's just less.
Indigo's still a thing. There's just there's more Spren.
Listen, they took indigo out of the rainbow. Now it's Roy G. Bv.
Really?
I thought. I'm gonna
first Pluto and then indigo.
I'm pretty sure that was before Pluto.
Ireland, Roy G. Biv. You making stuff up over there?
I might be making stuff up over here.
Up. Okay.
I mean.
Anyways, Spren, you can kind of think have kind of like ethnicities almost. So you have different types of Spren born of different powers of creation. They all kind of they Spren of similar types stick together. They do sometimes intermix, but yeah. So different types of Spren. We have cryptics. That is not the nice name for them, but the cryptics is the nice name. Other people call them lie Spren. That is not. They don't like it.
I mean, yeah.
They have been described as the light eyes of the cognitive realm.
Wait, cryptic specifically, or?
Yeah, that's what I have in my notes.
I thought that was more like honor Spren, where they're so hoity-toity.
Honor Spren are hoity-toity. So we haven't actually seen cryptics.
Yeah.
Besides en masse. So honor Spren are pretty hoity-toity. They have big beef with the cryptics.
Naturally.
They are also a leader of the pack in the cognitive realm. So cryptics and honor Spren. Another thing to understand about Spren is that shard blades are dead Spren. So in the physical realm, you have the shard blades, but in the cognitive realm, you still have kind of the Spren, who does have a physical substance, but doesn't. That creature, that entity, is still like alive-ish, but they don't.
It's not dead. It's only mostly dead.
So like they are like they do have like a body that will kind of wander around, but it's not something that you can truly interact with. They don't talk.
We'll see more of them in future books.
Yes, but so those Spren are called Deadeyes. A couple quotes about them. Then they live again a little when someone summons them, sinking a heartbeat to their essence, which is just kind of sad reading it on its own.
I mean, I feel like it's wistful. You know, it's like they're dead, but then when you bond with them, your heart becomes theirs, and it's 10 heartbeats, and then you can slaughter the Parshendi. There is no...
Except then you remember when, like, a Knight's Radiant or somebody touches a dead a shard blade, they hear screaming, which would be the Deadeyes screaming. So not so nice.
I mean, Wesley didn't like being mostly dead either. My heart made that sound. You know, when the six-fingered man killed my father. Anyway.
The man in black makes it now.
Yeah, the man in black makes that sound now. Anyway, both very quotable.
Okay. Okay, so we've covered shard blades. So let's talk about let's underscore the difference between shard blades and honor blades. Shard blades created out of a Spren. Honor blades
different.
They are not really connected with Spren whatsoever. They are physical objects not attached to a Spren that a power of creation created out of thin air.
No, hard disagree.
Okay,
they're from honor.
They are of honor's power.
Sure. Yeah, they're from honor's power. They're not, they're not straight from Aiden Lausium. But the only honor blade we've seen so far is Zeth's, and that's why Syl makes a big deal about
it being different, because it is different. It may look the same to Kaladin. They both look like shard blades, but they are not the same. That's
right. And the other, I guess, key difference about honor blades is they make you a surge binder even without Spren.
Yeah. So a big point to kind of hit home here is that honor blades were created first.
It's true.
So honor blades were made. They gave kind of 2 surges of power to whoever wields the blade. Spren took a look at these weapons and said, "Wow, that's kind of cool.
Hey, you know what else is a little bit of honor? Me."
So then they started imitating the honor blades. Now, as with sometimes happens when you copy something, you copy it, but you also make it better in some ways. So these,
or worse, you make it, it's a different copy. You might say it's imperfect forgery. Oh wait, is that a reference to Emperor's Soul? Maybe.
So many things to reference. So our Knights Radiance who wield shard blades can use Stormlight much more efficiently than the people who are holding honor blades. So if you notice with this book, there was, a lot of times when Kaladin and Zeth were fighting, Zeth needed a lot more Stormlight than Kaladin. And
Zeth, I think, I don't remember if it was in this book or if it was in Way of Kings, Zeth is not able to heal from a shard blade wound. He says explicitly at one point that if he got hit by those blades, he would not be able to heal even with Stormlight. Whereas we see Kaladin do just that. He's got a blade severed arm. And that's one of the key things that the unraveling Zeth,
because he's being forced to see that his assumptions were wrong, or that the things that he knows, the things that he think are true are patently not. Well, yeah,
the things he's been told that he must do, his life is a lie, right?
Right. We've already talked about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Transitioning smoothly, talking about the difference between shard blades and honor blades, let's talk about the difference between heralds and surge binders and radiance.
Well, we still don't really know as of Words of Radiance, do we?
Yes.
You go on ahead. We
do, because, it was also covered in the last book, too, because Kaladin's dad, Lirin, was also very clear on trying to mark the difference between heralds.
The heralds are still okay. It's the Lost Radiance who are bad guys.
Yeah. Okay. So, Honor, a.k.a. God, created
the Almighty.
The Almighty.
Although, yeah, he's God for most people. You're right.
Made a group of people into heralds. The Radiants, or the Surge Binders were born of Spren copying the Heralds. So much in the way that the Spren copied the Honor Blades, they also kind of were trying to make whoever they bonded closer to copying the Heralds. So that the Surge Binders also got, 2 surges of power. Depending on the type of Spren that bonds a person, that person gets different powers. So that's based on the type of Spren. So what's the difference between a Radiant and a Surge Binder? So Surge Binder is anybody who bonds a Spren.
It's like squares and rectangles, right?
So every Radiant is a Surge Binder, but not every Surge Binder is a Radiant.
Yeah.
A Radiant is also tied to... Radiants or orders of knights are a construct. They adhere to oaths or rules. Someone who is a Surge Binder hasn't kind of promised those oaths, isn't part of kind of a recognized order of knights. I think that in the book they use a quote of not every man who wields a spear is a soldier. They haven't gone through the rigidity of adapting to an ordered army or adhere to rules.
And also part of the value of being a Radiant is learning to use those powers effectively. Right? Mm-hmm. It's not just having limitations on when to use them, it's knowing how to do it better.
Some things to point out: most Radiants were not soldiers. Shallan was particularly disappointed in this fact, because I think she was really excited to use her sword.
I mean, yeah. She kills Tin. I don't know. Like I said, one of my favorite scenes is,
when she kills Tin.
When she kills Tin. Okay,
a little bit... maybe I'll skip that.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of that comes up in the next book. It's better in the next book.
I do want to make one little point. So Radiants, because of their bond to Spren, they developed lighter eyes, and Radiants were kind of the leaders of society for generations. So that's really where it comes from, that light are in charge of society in modern day.
Yeah, but it is interesting though, where when the Recreants happened, the Radiants, became
taboo.
Yeah, taboo, right? They're the lost Radiants. They're evil.
Yeah,
but Light Eyes had the opposite, right?
But somehow Light Eyes are still in charge.
And if I were to try to make sense of that in my head, I think it would have to be, like what happens to Moash in this book, where he bonds a dead Shardblade, and his eyes still turn light. And I suspect because the people, with those Shardblades and Shardplate were the ones in power.
Because they had as much force as you could have. Okay.
I'm the guy with the big old sword. You gonna listen to me.
So to refresh your memory of Way of Kings, Yasna was kind of looking in the Palanaeum for information, and she was hoping that she would find it in the Palanaeum because it was such a large library. The reason why she was so concerned about that is that the church removed all records of Shadesmar and Radiant and Urithiru. So the organized religion had done a very thorough job of removing all references to the things that she's looking for. So she was hoping that because the Palanaeum was so large that they wouldn't have gotten to everything, that there was still something left that had been untouched, much to avail.
Well, and it wasn't even just that they removed everything, they
edited it.
They edited, and this is like a real world thing where instead of writing biographies about people, you'll get hagiographies, where instead of writing an accurate account of a person's life, you'll try to drum up their virtues. And if you read a biography about George Washington, right, or Abraham Lincoln, or any of our founding fathers, there's some that are accurate accounts of their life, and there's some hey, these are our founding fathers. They were saints, right? Mm-hmm. And the truth is not. They were people. They had flaws, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's sort of the principle that's going on there.
Man, these literary terms, hagiography.
Yeah, that's a church term, writing about the saints. But it applies to more than just church stuff.
Sure. Yeah, but because they had the existence of, all of that stuff, and of the listeners and the singers from history, no one knows that the Parshmen are actually enslaved enemies. Kind of important information.
Yeah.
You'd think that somewhat that would be information that would be passed down, but nope, it's been long enough that it's just, why say it out loud?
Oh, I forget what it is at this point. There was some, like, an early dictionary, and I forget whether it was like in Germany or England or whatever. I'm probably butchering this anecdote, but there was some early dictionary that puzzles historians because there's a word in there, and the definition is just, everybody knows what this is. And it's like, well, what the fuck does that, what? No, we don't. And like, you can't figure out what, they don't know what
I think that's a joke on everybody.
Yeah, probably. It could be, it probably is, but it's still
That would be
funny.
an awesome joke.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, like, anyway. I was about to say, it's like, oh, Gen Z slang. You gotta riz them. Everybody knows what that, whatever.
I think they've moved on.
Oh, no. You mean the Gen Z slang I hear on NPR might be out of date? Oh, no. My dad is showing.
Okay. Anyway, so as a reminder, that is why Yasna is so eager to find Urithiru, because she fully expects that there is knowledge kept at Urithiru that has not been edited by the church, because Urithiru had been lost prior to the church editing all of the world history.
I think she has multiple motives. I think there's more than just that, too.
But that motive wasn't clear to me for, like, the first 3 or 4 rereads.
All right, fair enough. This is the casual reader's guide.
And even reading Words of Radiance, I still always forget reading it that, yeah, Shallan's trying to find Urithiru.
Yeah.
She's a little scatterbrained in this. She's just doing 10 million different things, and then at the end it all falls into place. But
yeah, there's a Sanderlanche.
Yeah, there's a Sanderlanche, but it all just seems like, oh yeah, you were looking for Urithiru. I forgot that's what we were doing.
Well, if we want to be pedantic, they don't. Yeah, I think they sort of give up quickly on actually finding Urithiru. They want to find the Oath Gate in the Shattered Plain as the path to Urithiru.
Yes, because apparently finding a city that was large enough to be the base of the Ancient Radiance is just really hard to find.
Well, to be fair, if it were easy to find, somebody would have done it.
I know, but it just seems like the known world. I mean, you guys like, they've mapped the entire world.
I guess that doesn't mean that maps are accurate. And like, they do complain about inaccurate maps a lot in this book, about like how everybody put Urithiru in a different place.
Well, anyways, by the end of this book, we know that the Urithiru is located in the mountains in the middle of Roshar. Urithiru is called a city, but it is one huge, gigantic tower. It is just one building. Okay, a little bit on notes on the history. So desolations. Each time a desolation occurred, knowledge was lost. So that visions, when we went through Dalinar's visions that went forward in time, technology is actually going backwards, which is very counterintuitive.
I want to say it was an Einstein quote, but I feel like this might be something that any scientist in, the post-World War II era, got attributed to Einstein anyway. But there was a quote about, like, I don't know with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. And it's like, it's kind of that principle being played out in a fantasy setting, where because the desolations were so devastating, right? They lost the knowledge. They lost the ability to, the infrastructure, the ability, the knowledge to make steel. So they were back to bronze, and then they were back to, whatever, right? So instead of going from the Stone Age to the Bronze Age to the Iron Age, they
went from the Iron Age to the
Bronze Age and backwards.
My notes are very not organized. So going back to the heralds, I want to talk about one particular herald, Talanat Ilin. Talm.
Goat.
Each herald only has about 10 different names throughout history, and yes, you do apparently need to keep track of them all. Thank you, Brandon. Some things we can simplify. So that's the madman that is found at the end of Way of Kings. That's the one that, Wit was waiting for. He is really a herald.
Well, and like we see, if that wasn't obvious from like Wit showing up at his return, right? And, everybody, Wit.
And Wit bow. I think Wit bows to him.
Yeah, something like that. But like, Wit only shows up when shit's important, right? So like him, is an indicator that like, oh, he says he's a herald. Oh, okay, he's important. Okay. But then like we see in, I forget which interlude it is, but when Amaram breaks him out of the prison, like he has superhuman abilities. That's another clue.
Really good reflexes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Talon is trying to prepare the world for another desolation. That's what all of his kind of ramblings are getting towards. And that preparing for a desolation is something that has not happened for a very long time.
Yeah.
Okay. A world building thing. Fire moss. So I was super confused about fire moss for a while until I made a comment on the internet, and then the internet decided to tell me.
Yeah, Reddit.
To set me straight, like, that's drugs.
Yeah. It's...
And I was like,
yeah.
It's drugs. Okay.
But I do think it's interesting that it's drugs they take through their fingers, right? Like, I don't know of anything that you would do like that.
Well, it's actually, so they rub it, so when you rub the fire moss, it releases a smoke, and then you inhale the smoke.
Oh, I thought they just like my fingers. I'm getting my finger drugs.
So fire moss
sense.
actually shows up all the freaking time.
Yeah.
Throughout this, but more than half the time, I feel like it's not called. It's like the word fire moss does not appear on the page when it appears on screen,
and it doesn't take a big prominent role in the story until the next book.
Right. So like in these first two books, especially, like
it's more like he's just planting the seed.
I was just on the rereads, I'm like, oh, there's fire moss. So fire moss is what Tin's rubbing between her fingers when she talks to Shalon when they're in that little oasis.
And I mean, and to describe the effects of fire moss, it seems roughly analogous to like opiates in our world. Like they get crazy sedated. It's very addictive.
Well, yeah, some people find it more addictive than others. You know, some people can take it once and be fine, and other people's like you once and you're done for life.
Yeah.
So that's the substance that Teft has been stuck on.
Well, do we find out in this book that he's addicted to it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know like he starts flaking out dramatically in this book. Okay.
It also appears in Shalon's flashbacks. Jushu lounged on a chair nearby, rubbing some kind of plant between his fingers, his face distant. So that is fire moss. Anyways, I thought it was a cool world building thing that,
Yeah.
I was completely clueless as.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip that. Okay, so at the end of Words of Radiance, we find out that Renarin is radiant.
Yeah.
So, just to point out a couple clues that you may have missed of him being a radiant. He grimaced when he... How do you pronounce that word?
Grimace?
Grimaced? Grimaced? He grimaced when he took the... I just want to say grimace because that's
because the big, big purple guy with the shakes.
Yeah. He grimaced when he took the shard blade Adolin won for him. So that's an indication to us as the readers that, hey, he heard screaming when he took it.
Or it was, at the very least, it was uncomfortable. And like, in your first read through, you're like, he's feeling emasculated that he can't win his own shard blades. But you're right.
It reads different.
Yeah, it reads different once you know that. Oh, the screaming.
And there's another moment where Adolin is like, oh, he's not wearing his spectacles. Why was that? Didn't he need them? As a radiant, he would have healing abilities that would heal his sight. So he would no longer need spectacles.
Although that's interesting you say that, though. Because, like, the healing abilities of the Radiance is interesting, right? Like, Kaladin's tattoo doesn't take, right? And his scars don't
So that's
heal.
the section that I just skipped.
Yeah, but it's like... But it's...
So
do we want to talk about, like, the mechanics of that?
Let's talk about this. All right.
Because, like, you can go.
All right. Their self-perception is a huge thing in the Cosmere.
And especially with Radiance being tied to the cognitive realm.
I can't explain the concept in its entirety, so I'm going to do it through examples. So, yes, as you said, Vic, Kaladin doesn't think he's worthy internally.
Do you want me to try to explain it with words?
Let me finish this. So, he doesn't think he's worthy.
I disagree.
So, the Stormlight won't heal his scars, his Shash brand, or let the Bridge 4 tattoo stay. It is Kaladin's self-perception that prevents the Stormlight from healing those things. That's constantly coming into play. So go ahead. You explain the analytical or the technical definition.
So Kaladin has an image of, everybody has of who he is, right? Like if you look in the mirror, there's a version of you that looks right to see, and if And if something major happened to you, there would be, at least be an adjustment period where like that changed your appearance. Like when I got LASIK and I lost my glasses, like I lost my glasses. Like I didn't recognize myself in the mirror for a little bit, right? And that's what's happening to Kaladin. It's not that he's unworthy of the Bridge 4 tattoos. It's they don't, they're not a part, they're going up on his forehead and he's got something else that is, part of his identity, and that's the Shash brand. He has
internalized that.
He has internalized that he is a slave, that he is a danger, and that's core to his identity. That's why the scars don't heal. That's why the tattoo doesn't take, is because there's something more important to his perception of himself already there.
Another example from a more positive frame of mind is Lopin. So at the end of Words of Radiance, Lopin regrows his arms. And that is because Lopin, though he makes jokes about his arm all the freaking time, he never accepted his arm being lost as the core to his identity.
Yeah.
So that's why, even though it's been years, Lopin is able to regrow his arm.
Yeah. I wonder if they had... Well, they do have mirrors, right? I was about to say,
yeah, they have mirrors. Just Kaladin never bothered to look in one because he didn't care about his appearance.
No, I'm thinking about Renarin and his glasses, because when I wore glasses, right, like that, I wouldn't recognize me without glasses on, right? But apparently for Renarin,
that wasn't
healing his eyesight was, that was part of who he is.
We get to see a little bit of his future abilities of kind of having future sight. He's got some very creepy quotes where he's just like, I need to be ready. Something is coming.
Creepy, ominous. Yeah.
And then 2 sentences later, scratches outside Dalinar's rooms were mentioned.
Yeah. And it's funny, I don't want to say I forget about that every time, but I'm just like, oh yeah.
Well, I always forget that it was Renarin who does it. It
was such a mystery, and then it gets solved, and it's just like nothing.
Yeah, I always every time I trip up, I'm like, oh, Dalinar's doing it,
No.
But no, it's Renarin.
Yeah.
Okay, I have 3 more sections left.
All right.
Let's see if we can do it.
Let's do it.
Sons of Honor and Amaram.
Oh, these are all about secret societies.
Yes.
First one, the Sons of Honor.
So we've got 3. We've got the Sons of Honor, the Diagram, and the Ghostbloods. Now, those are 3 separate secret societies. Do not mix them up. And yes, there are 3 secret societies, and no, that's not all of them.
Oh, I was about to say, but wait, there's more.
But these are our 3 core ones that you really don't want to mix up. So
well, there's more that you don't want to. Keep going.
So Sons of Honor are a faction led by the Herald Rastaris to bring back the Voidbringers.
Whoa. I guess we did say that there were spoilers for the whole thing, but yeah, they don't.
Yeah, but they talk about this in the book as well.
They talk about being led by a herald?
Yes,
I mean, they know they talk about
do.
being... But we just don't trust them yet. Okay, fair enough.
So they're led by the Rastaris to bring back the Voidbringers in order to bring back the heralds. Because they think the only way the heralds are going to come back if there is a threat large enough to warrant them coming back.
And I feel like that is a trope, right? Where, in our time of greatest need, this hero will come back.
So let's be in a time of really great need.
Yeah, so they're... Yeah. Fuck them.
Exactly. Their leaders do have different motives than the overall group. Some of the leaders are just seeking immortality. Some of them are just seeking to get off of the planet. Whereas more of the minions, the lower class, are all about getting the heralds back.
Yeah, there are true believers, and then there are manipulators.
So Amaram is in bed with the Sons of Honor. Possibly Sadius, but I think not.
I think Amaram is trying to manipulate Sadius.
Yeah, so I don't think Sadius is in the Sons of Honor.
Well,
it's a little unclear.
Yeah, because we do see in later books there are ties, but I think that's not Toral Sadius.
Yeah, so we also learned that Gavilar had visions from the Almighty, and that he told the Sons of Honor about them, or at least that the Sons of Honor know about visions that Gavilar had.
Yes.
However, whether that was information freely given or just passed around, we don't know. Okay, so keep that in mind for Sons of Honor. Then we have the Diagram. So I think we talked about this a little bit in the Interludes episode, but the Diagram is Taravangian's secret society.
The Diagram means multiple things. It is both the society that
the secret organization,
a secret society with Taravangian at its head, set to accomplish its purpose to save whatever they can of humanity. It's also Taravangian's master plan that he wrote down in kind of code on his singular day of brilliance.
So the important thing to note is that the followers of the diagram are allowed to explore their own interpretations of the plan. Graves is one of those individuals. He had a different interpretation than Taravangian, and he was allowed to go explore his own interpretation.
Specifically about how Dallin are supposed to figure into things.
Yeah, and whether or not to kill Elhokar and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So at the end of Words of Radiance, we see kind of Graves kind of reminiscing about, my interpretation was wrong. And Moash is just like, what?
What are you talking about, dude?
You're nutso.
I mean, to be fair, the world's gone nutso at that point.
It has.
Does that feel like reality sometimes?
Yeah.
Sorry. Didn't mean to ask such a painful question.
Okay, so that's the diagram. Okay, a little bit of primer on the Ghost Bloods now. Their motivations up to this point is unclear. We'll find out more about them later in other books.
I feel like we've had the most screen time with Ghost Bloods.
But we still don't know a whole lot about their motivations.
They're a vague yet menacing organization.
Very menacing.
Right or wrong, I think of the Sons of Honor as being like analogous to, I don't want to say the KKK, but like for some reason they give me that kind of vibe. And I think of the Ghost Bloods as
Sons
the
of
CIA.
Honor is the boys' club, yeah.
Yeah, and I think of the Ghost Bloods as being like the CIA. They're around a cause. They're around.
They're a lot more covert.
They're very covert, and
skilled.
And they thrive on instability.
Yeah.
And information gathering.
So what would you name the diagram then?
I'm not really sure. I'm not the Illuminati.
Maybe I'm not versed enough in secret societies. Okay.
Well, because and especially because they orchestrate Taravangian being the head of the head of the world, right? Like that's fairly Illuminati-ish.
Okay. All right, back to the Ghost Bloods. So what we know about the Ghost Bloods is that they wanted to kill Yasna, and they are also looking for Urithiru. We already talked about they were highly skilled individuals. Shallan's family were all tangled up in the Ghost Bloods. We don't exactly know how, but they were.
That's where her dad got the Soulcaster, the Fabrial Soulcaster, not Shallan.
The Ghost Bloods know of Shallan/Vale, and they are retrieving Shallan's brothers. How nice of them.
Yeah.
We don't know why Shallan's father joined the Ghost Bloods, or at what point in his life that he joined the Ghost Bloods.
Presumably it has something to do with his sudden rise in fortune after being on the path to being destitute.
The only motivations that we can somewhat eke out is that one of the reasons why they were kind of killing Yasna is that while they were trying to kill Yasna, they were trying to get information about Urithiru. Tin, or one of her writers, people said they let slip that they found the information they need elsewhere. Something about a city they've been searching for. So the Ghost Bloods were also searching for Urithiru, and that's pretty much.
Well,
I don't know what information they found, because it's not like they got to Urithiru before Shallan did.
Oh, I was assuming they got it from somebody in the diagram who
knew that
Szeth, where Szeth spends his time.
And maybe they were just.
But they didn't have a way to do anything with that information because they didn't have any Knights of Radiance with a living Shredblade.
Well, they could have just walked there.
No. It's high up in the mountains, unless they're going to climb up a sheer face.
I bet of anybody, the Ghost Blood.
Maybe. Yeah. I know I talked about this in the last episode, but like the Ghost Bloods are not. They have chapters on other worlds, I'll say, because a lot of the trophies in Mraize's hideout are trophies from other worlds and other cosmic,
And some we recognize at this point if you've read all of the books to publish, and some we don't.
That's right. I think some we still don't recognize, honestly.
That's what I just said.
No, but I mean I thought you meant if you're reading a publication order, you would recognize some of them.
No. If you read all of the things that are published to this day.
Yeah, I gotcha. And yes.
Okay. Well, I'm not out of notes, but the other notes I decided to just not do.
Well, and I was about to say is and
I think we're out of time anyways.
Yeah, that's fair. Thanks for podcasting with me, dear.
Thanks for podcasting with me.
And listener, thanks for listening to us. And I hope you found this, helpful. we've been Cosmere Casual. If you want to reach out to us, have any questions, feedback, anything, our email address is cosmerecasual@gmail.com. Our social media handle is Cosmere Casual. Our intro and outro music is licensed through Tribe of Noise. The song is Odyssey, and the artist is Ketsa. I normally do that one in verse, huh?
You did great.
Thanks. I'm out of practice.
And until next time, keep your wits about you.
And so long, thanks for all the fish.